Boom. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Business Owners Mastermind Group. This is brought to you every single Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, right here in Rockland, California. This call is sponsored by the Rockland Chamber of Commerce and my company, John Pyron Coaching. So I'm going to start off with a little example. And for those of you that are getting the audio recording only, what I've got in my hands here is a nice deck of 52 cards. They are gold plated. Okay, so for those of you watching on video, they're $100 bills. So it's a deck of 52 cards. Now, one of the things that I know about this deck of cards is this. There are 52 cards in this deck. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle them a couple of times. That's the sound that you hear. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle them up. And I'm going to give an example of what appointment setting is all about. If you can get this one concept, it will change your attitude and your mindset towards appointment setting probably for the rest of your life. Now, I wish that was the case, but as you can see, here I am 28 years later in building businesses, and I still have my deck of cards. I get a new deck probably every 5 years because I wear them out, but it's a tool I use to put my mindset in check when it comes to appointment setting. And so we're going to go ahead and start flipping over some cards here. And what we're looking for, the thing I know about this deck is this. There are 52 cards. There are 4 face cards for, each one of the suits. And there are 4 aces in this. Now if you know where they're at, feel free to tell me so I can just actually go there. But I don't know where the 4 aces are. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip them over. And I'm going to keep track of the numbers. Let me get my little note sheet here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11. So I had to turn over 11 cards in that first round to get 1 ace. So let's continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22 to get that second ace. Now watch how it gets easier. Watch this, because there's not that many cards left. 1, 2, 2 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11. So here's what happened. The first time I picked up the phone and called the people on my list, because last week we talked about lead generation. And the next step in lead generation is after I've marketed to them, and I'm going to teach you a marketing touch system today that you can implement that I continue to use today in this business that I invented in 2003, because I hate making cold calls. I don't know about you, but the idea of picking up a phone and dialing 200, 300 freaking phone numbers does not excite me. Some people get all fired up about that. That's just not the way I like to set appointments. So in 2003, I invented this system, and basically it says, okay, there's only so many prospects I can work at one time. And so I'm going to come back to this and finish this story, but let me get back to the purpose of this deck of cards. So the first time I started calling, started picking up the phone, maybe I got voicemail, maybe somebody answered the phone and hung up, maybe somebody answered the phone and said, not now, I'm busy, call me back later, call me back next year, whatever it is they said. I had to go through 10 people to get to that 11th person that said, yes, I will set an appointment with you, John Pyron. So once I got off the phone with that person and I booked the appointment, I got right back on the phone And I started dialing the phone number, and you saw my body language. I'm like, oh my God, it started. I mean, after about 15, you're going, oh my God, is this even work, right? Should I even continue to do this? Should I go to the dentist and get a root canal right now? Because that would probably be a lot more enjoyable than picking up the phone right now, right? But I kept on, and I kept persistent, and lo and behold, the 22nd card was another appointment. Then I picked up the phone again. I'm thinking, oh my God, after I just went through 21 people either telling me no, hanging up on the phone, whatever, I got an appointment. And I picked up the phone, I dialed 2 more phone numbers, got another one. Now I'm fired up at this point because I'm pretty confident I'm not going to have to go through 22 again. And so I was rewarded because I continued to pick up the phone, and I dialed 2 more numbers, and I got an appointment. Then I picked up the phone again. I dialed 11 more numbers to get that next appointment. So what do we got here? 22, 24, 34, 44, 45, 46 touches to get 4 appointments. Now, I can reshuffle this deck, and we can continue the entire call of me just reshuffling the deck and keeping track of my numbers. And what's going to happen is I'm going to come up with what is my average. And so the first step in appointment setting is understanding this. Not everybody's going to answer the phone. Not everybody's going to say yes. Not everybody's going to be interested. Some people are going to hang up. Some phone numbers might be disconnected. But at the end of the day, I know by sheer doing the effort that there are 4 appointments out there. If you think about the product or service that you currently sell or buy, right? Think about the job that you have, the business that you have, all the products and services that you've had. Someone had to set an appointment at some point. So there are enough appointments out there. And that's the first place I want to start with appointment setting is mindset. One of the most difficult things that people do in the world of marketing, sales, building their business is picking up that phone. That phone sometimes can weigh 10,000 pounds. I know, because even today, I still, if I'm not totally mentally prepared, I still, have a resistance to that phone. And this deck of cards concept has saved my bacon more than once because it reminds me, it's like, I can't predict who's going to answer the phone. I can't predict who's going to say no. I can't predict who's going to say yes. I do know this. If I don't pick up the phone and follow up on the lead that I got, my chances of setting an appointment are 0. And so the first thing I want to address, because this is something I address every single time, almost every single time I work with pretty much any client, is the resistance to make a phone call. And so my goal on today's call is to how do you make appointment setting easy? How do you make appointment setting enjoyable? How do you make it to where my mind is completely engaged and I know what to say when they answer the phone call? So we're going to talk about that today. So it all starts with we have our leads, right? And one of the things that we need to do when we get our leads is we need to have a system for appointment setting. So back in 2003, I had become a minority partner in a company. Now keep in mind, I was walking around, I had my little badge on, business owner. I was really a big deal because I owned part of the company, and all that meant was I had a small minority partnership, but I still had a job. Okay, I still had to pick up the phone, and there was no systems in place when I took over the sales department. There was none of this stuff, and I'm thinking, there's got to be a better way than to sit here and make 200, 300 freaking cold calls. I cannot do that. Now, we didn't have Facebook. We didn't have YouTube. Hell, we barely had the internet, and we had email. I had not yet figured out the email. So what I thought is, wouldn't it be a lot easier for me to pick up the phone and follow up on something I sent them that had a tremendous amount of value and just call them up and say, hey, did you get what I sent you? That was the crux of that whole system. And so what I ended up doing is coming up with a system where I go, okay, I've got 1,000 leads in my database. But I can't, I have no desire to pick up the phone and call 300 people a day. So what can I effectively work consistently and create a system out of it where I'm not having to make an actual cold call? I'm basically making a follow-up call. And so I came up with a system called the Marketing Touch System. Okay. And so for today, what I'm going to actually give away is I did an 1.5-hour long presentation on this. And a friend of mine came to me and said, hey, you know what? Can you help me? I'm not a technology guy. The guy was 63 years old. He said, I'm not a technology guy. I barely know where the power button is on the computer. Can you set the system up for me? And I said, sure, I'll set up the Marketing Touch System for you as long as I can record it and use it as a training module. Because I was training lots and lots of people in the system at the time. I'm like, how can I duplicate my time? So I was able to record it, and I'm going to give it to you. So basically what it is I'm going to take 200 leads that are in my target market, and I'm going to put them in a database. And we talked about database last weekend. So you want to have, or last week, you want to have a database where you can keep track of a name, a phone number, an email address, what you've done with them, what the next steps are, called a CRM, a customer relationship manager. And there's lots of different ones out there. The one I like the most is called, believe it or not, Less Annoying CRM. It truly is less annoying. And so what we want to do is we want to take our leads and we want to put it in this system. Then we want to identify what are our top 200 leads. We want to take those 200 leads, we want to carve them out into 8 groups of 25. That's what we want to do. 8 groups of 25. So in your CRM, your database, whatever it is that you're using, Excel spreadsheet, I don't really care. 8 groups of 25. So group number 1, group number 2, all the way down to group number 8. And here's what we're going to do. So let's just assume that we had this system set up and we started this system yesterday. So yesterday, all I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with an email that basically, let me give you what my actual current Marketing Touch email is that my assistant is sending out. Because even today, I still send this out, except I have an assistant doing it now. And so let me actually put this up here, okay? And let me see here. Let me actually share this screen. And I'll show you the actual Marketing Touch email that's going out right now, currently, to my database. So let me see, where do I do this? Boom. Okay, share screen. And let me share the desktop. Okay. So here's the actual Marketing Touch email that I send out right now. That's going out to, I think we're in group number 6 after talking to my assistant this morning. So I was very inspired. I saw a Netflix video. It was a Tony Robbins video. It's up on Netflix right now. Highly recommend you go watch it. And it's an hour and actually it's 2.5 hours long. And it's Tony Robbins, I'm Not Your Guru. And I got so inspired about it. I'm like, this is something of value that I'm going to send out. So basically the first step is I got my 200 leads. They're into 8 groups of 25. And I need to come up with something that I can send my prospective client that adds value to them. So that way when I call them up, I'm not some schmuck calling them up, pitching, because here's one golden nugget I want you to take away from today's call. And that is this: the purpose of setting an appointment is to simply set the appointment. It's not to sell your product or service, it's to set the appointment. You want to sell them on the benefits of what they're going to receive, what they are going to receive by setting an appointment with you. That's the number one rule with setting appointments. And so I want to give them something of value first. So when I call them up to set an appointment, they're more apt to reciprocate and receive from me. So here's what I wrote up, because I watched this video and I got all inspired. And so the subject line says here what I learned recently from Tony Robbins. And I put hello, and then I'm going to put their first name. Okay, I hope this email finds you and your business doing awesome. Recently, I watched a Tony Robbins video on Netflix and learned a daily ritual he uses called priming. What I discovered over the past few weeks of doing this exercise has been amazing. More clarity, more energy, more gratitude, and the list goes on and on and on. Here's the YouTube video of this daily ritual. Now, let me pause there, because if you're in a service-based type business, if you're in a product-based type business or whatever, highly recommend you get a YouTube channel or utilize somebody else's YouTube video. But if I get an email from you and I don't recognize the link, probably not going to click on it. So anytime I create a marketing touch where it has a link, it's typically a YouTube link that I'm going to share, because they can verify it's not a virus or whatever, and they're gonna most likely click on it. I've had a lot of success with this. So here's the YouTube video of this daily ritual. As I've shared with all of my one-on-one clients, try this out in your own life for 2 weeks straight, and you will experience similar or better results. Then share this with those that you care about. And if you have employees, be the leader and share it with them as well. Lastly, if you're curious about how I can help you achieve your business goals and objectives, let's connect on the phone for 10 minutes. I'm going to get into the importance of a 10-minute phone call here in a minute. This is a big game changer. I learned this from my mentor, Steve Napolitan, back in 2015, the power of a 10-minute phone call versus asking them for a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour. And I tell you what, it took my appointment setting from 25% to well over 80% success rate when it comes to appointment setting. So I'm going to teach you what the power and the importance of a 10-minute phone call is here in just a minute. To make it easy, please use the online calendar link in my signature below to find a time that will work for you. Now, in my signature here, have an amazing day, I have an online calendar link. Now, if I click on this online calendar link, and here's a tip for you, and I should have got a dang affiliate link before I did this, but it is what it is I use a tool called youcanbook.me. It's free. Now, I still haven't figured out why I should do the paid for version, but it synchronizes with my Google Calendar. If you have Outlook, if you have a corporate email system, it will integrate, as long as your corporate IT department allows this, it will integrate with your calendar. See, what I'm doing with this email here is I'm making it super easy for people to set an appointment with me. So that's another tip. Make it super easy for people to set an appointment with you, so you're not playing this phone tag thing. How many of us, I leave a voicemail, they leave a voicemail. I leave a voicemail, they leave a voicemail. This is a way that I have found, that I've used for years now, that eliminates that whole thing. Okay? So now that we have whatever it is we're going to send out, and all my assistant does is put in the first name. She sends out 25 emails. Now, here's a question I get all the time. John, can I take this system and can I put it on something like Constant Contact? Can I put this on something like MailChimp? Can I put this on something like Aweber, an automated email marketing system? And the answer is yes. I have a couple of clients, Aaron Opfel with Searcher Magnet, Deborah Scarpa with Design by Friday. They didn't want to send out 25 emails a day. They put it out on an automated email system. They got a very similar result, albeit not the same result. This right here takes a little bit more work, takes an average of the fastest I've been able to send out 25 emails with this system right here. And you'll see how I set up the system later on when you watch the training video, 9 minutes and 38 seconds. So if you can spare 15 minutes a day, you can be consistent with these marketing touches, okay? So once I send out the email, now what I have is I have a reason to follow up. And so I go to my database and, full disclosure here, let me actually pull up my database. I got no issues in you guys seeing this. Is I have, I want to make sure and protect the innocent here, but this is my database, so I can share this. Let me share the screen here again. So for those of you that are on audio only, what I'm sharing is okay, how I have this structured in my database. Okay. So share the screen here, boom. So what I do is I know she sent out group number 6 today. So I have my database broken up in these groups. So yesterday she sent out group number 5. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to group number 5, and there's some people that got deleted because their emails either bounced or they asked out of the database. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this and I'm going to call up these people in order. Okay. So I'm going to systematically go through and call all these people. Now, what am I going to say? And I'm going to get to the psychology of appointment setting here in just a sec, but here's the simplicity of the system. I'm going to call up Alan here. I'm going to say, hey, Alan, John Pyron, you and I met at wherever. Okay, in his case, he was a referral. So I'm going to call up Alan and I'm going to go, hey, got your information. I was referred to you by Kathy. So Kathy and I are both friends, and you and Kathy are friends. And how do you know Kathy? And we're going to connect there. We'll say, hey, out of curiosity, I sent you an email. There's 2 reasons for my call. Number 1, I sent you an email. And I just want to follow up, make sure you got it, because it was a morning ritual that Tony Robbins does, and it's off the chain. Okay, you should check it out. Okay, did you get it? Yeah, I got it, or no, I didn't get it, or I haven't had time, or whatever, right? Great, just wanted to connect with you. The next reason for the call is I wanted to see if there's a time where you and I can spend 10 minutes on the phone. I would really like to get a chance to know you and your business better, see if there's anyone in my network that can benefit from your services, and vice versa. Do you have time this week for a 10-minute phone call, or maybe sometime next week? Now, that script right there, 83.5% conversion rate. Okay, so let me now go over the psychology of what I just did. Number 1 is I gave the person something of value. Number 2, I followed up with a phone call, and whether he answered the phone or not, I'm going to leave a message. So number 1, when somebody answers the live call, there's a couple of things that you should know about appointment setting. Number 1 is the person's not sitting there going, you know what, I'm sitting here, someone's going to call me. I just know it. I can feel it. I blocked out this time for people to call me. That's not going to happen, okay? The person's sitting there doing work, and I'm interrupting them. And I need to acknowledge that. And so the first thing I do when I call them is, number 1, I let them know who I am and where I got their information. Because the first thing if you think about it, if somebody were to call you and say, hey, John, this is, Chris Dancy. And so the first thing going through my mind is Chris Dancy. How do I know Chris Dancy? Is Chris Dancy with the IRS? I mean, I don't know, who's Chris Dancy, right? So I need to clear that up. So I say, hey, John, this is Chris Dancy. You and I don't know one another, but I met you through whatever, or I got your information from wherever. Wherever I got their information is what I'm going to share with them. I'm not going to lie or manipulate. There's no reason for that. Okay, we're adults. So I'm going to, number 1, clear the time. Hey, you got a quick second? I want to follow up on an email I sent you. And they're going to say yes, or they're going to say no, whatever, right? Most likely they're going to say yes. Hey, I sent you an email the other day. And a couple of things is I want to follow up on. Number 1, did you get the email? Okay, so when I ask a question, did you get the email, yes or no? No, yes, whatever. Hey, man, you really should go look at the email. It's a great tip on how to make your day extremely powerful. So I'm going to share with them the benefit of going and checking out that email. And this is just one system, by the way. Next is I'm going to say, hey, the second reason I am calling is, number 1, is I want to get a chance to know you and your business better to see if anyone in my network can benefit from your services. Now, that for me personally, that's not a lie. I'm always looking for someone to add to my network. Because if you think about what we're doing as business owners, it's not about just us selling our product or service. It's about helping that client. It's about helping them with their needs, their challenges. And I have just discovered over the last 20 years that the more I help my prospect, my client, achieve their business objectives, not just through my services, but the more I help them achieve their business objectives, the more open they are to hearing about what I have to offer. So, and because I have 200 leads, I don't care if this person says yes or no. I really don't. I've got 24 other calls to make after I get off the phone with this person. So I want them off my list. That's my number one goal in this system. I'm going to share with you a couple other systems here in a minute. But that's my number one goal in this system is I want them off the list. I want them out of the group. They're either going to be on my calendar for a 10-minute appointment, or they're going to tell me, no, take me off the list. Or they're going to or they're going to hang up, or they're going to do whatever, right? I don't care what they do. I just want them off the list because I got plenty of other leads. Remember, we have lead generation strategies in place now. We're constantly adding new leads to the fire, so we don't have room to play around with anybody. It's either yes, no, it's like this deck of cards. It's like, are you an ace? No. Are you an ace? No. Are you an ace? No. You know, it's going through here. It's not pausing at the number 10 card and going, come on, you don't want to be an ace? Can you, dude, trust me, it's beneficial to be an ace, right? And too many of us have an argument with the wrong prospect. That's the point, okay? No, what we're doing is we want to flip the cards and we're looking for the ace. Hey, do you want to set a 10-minute appointment? Do you want to set a 10-minute appointment? Do you want to set a 10-minute appointment? Yes, you want to set a 10-minute appointment, which is the ace I just turned over. So that is one part of appointment setting. Number one, have a system. Number two is yesterday, my assistant sent out 25 marketing touches to group 5. So today, my other assistant, Rachel, is following up on group number 5. Tomorrow, she's going to send out group 6. The next day, Rachel's going to call group 6. Okay? And it works like that systematically. Now, here's what I know for a fact, because I've done it for many years. I've trained thousands of people on how to do this. Works every freaking time. It's 30, 60, 90 days of consistency. And I promise you this, at the end of probably around, my experience has been 45, 60 days, they will have been touched by you with about 4 to 5 emails and about 4 to 5 phone calls. So they're going to be having been touched by you 8 to 10 times, and they're going to start developing a trust with you. Because one of the keys to appointment setting, one of the keys to marketing is consistency over time. So understand that. So that's why this system works so well. And so take the leads that you have, put them in this system, come up with a good, solid marketing, something you can share with them that has value, carve it up into 8 groups of 25, send an email, follow up with a phone call. Now, if you're in a regulated industry, such as Chris Dancy here, right? So he's regulated as to what information he can send out. It's got to get approved by a broker dealer or somebody. There are certain industries that have regulations. Well, guess what? There are certain marketing pieces that they will approve that you can send out and use in this system. The key is if you're constantly generating leads, you have to have something to do with those leads. And this is something that you can do that will be consistent. Okay. So over time, what will happen is less and less people will drop out of that group. So what's funny now is when I get somebody on the phone, or actually Rachel gets somebody on the phone, is they go, I go, hey, do you have time for a 10-minute phone call this week or next week? No, I don't have time. Okay, great. Next question before I let you go. You are on a very exclusive list that I share out my best content to. Do you want me to keep you on this list, Or do you want me to delete you from this list? Because I got my finger on the delete button. And I shut up. And I can't tell you how many people, it's just human psychology. They don't want to miss out on anything. Very rarely do I get somebody say, yeah, delete me. Now they go, no, don't, just keep me on the list. It's just not the right timing, right? And so what happens is after about a 60 to 90 day window, you actually now have a vetted list. And the cool thing is once you get the momentum in this, you can hire an assistant. Hell, I found an assistant out of New Mexico. I pay her $10 an hour. That's all I pay her. $10 an hour. Her only job in life is to send out 25 marketing touches a day. Because I know as a business owner, every business has cycles. Every business has the point where they're going up, and then they ultimately plateau, and then there's a correction. There's a cycle. And as long as I've been doing my marketing consistently, I will have a full pipeline. There is nothing, I promise you, if you haven't experienced this as a business owner, you will. There's nothing more scary when you go do all the work to get all the business, and now you're super, super busy and you're making a lot of money. You're like, oh God, I can't take on any more business. And so you stop doing marketing. Why? Because I can't take on any more business. And then what happens is you get the work done, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I got to go create more business. And then all of a sudden your pipeline is empty. And there's nothing more scary as a business owner, I'll tell you from personal experience, than to know that your work is dwindling and your pipeline is 100% cold. You want to meet the devil? You want to meet the devil of fear, doubt, worry, scare, have an empty pipeline. Have nothing, that you have to start from scratch, knowing that it takes 30, 60, 90 days to fill your pipeline. So if you get nothing out of this call, I want you to get this. Never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever stop generating leads. Never stop sending out these marketing touches. Now, the cool thing about these marketing touches is you always have a warmed up list. So like this particular call list, if I go, let's see here, find contacts. So there's 7,562 contacts in this database. Can I get to 7,562 contacts? I can through an email marketing system, and that's a call for a different time. But can I effectively do appointment setting with 7,562 contacts? No. And so this system takes out all the guesswork. It creates a system where I have a constant warmed up list. So here we go, next week or a week after or whatever, my biggest client or my top 2 clients call me up and say, hey man, we're having some issues over here. We're going to have to put your contract on hold. Had that, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Hey, you know what? We're selling the company. We no longer need your services. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. You want a warmed up pipeline, because now if somebody calls me up now, that's why I hired somebody to do this crap, because I don't want to do that. Okay. Unless I absolutely have to. So now when my business cycles, which it did 6 weeks ago, where I lost one account, then lost another account, then lost another account. Instead of freaking out, I just got on the phone. Why? Because I have a warmed up pipeline of prospects. Picked up the phone, started dialing, set appointments, boom, boom, boom. Got 4 new clients in less than a week because the system was warmed up. So the key to appointment setting is this. A couple of points I want to make here. Number 1, the purpose of the appointment is to simply set the appointment. It's not to sell you product or service. And so there's a structure to appointment setting. Number 1, I call them up. They're not expecting my call. So I need to acknowledge, hey, Joe, John Pyron, you and I don't know one another. Now he can actually focus on what I'm saying. Okay, I got your information from here because he's going to want to know, where do I know you? Fair, right? Next is I want to clear the time. Hey, do you got a quick second? I want to follow up on an email I sent you. Sure. Next thing, 2 bullet points. Number 1, did you get the email? The email was about Tony Robbins or whatever I sent him. Unbelievable value, man. I mean, I implemented this in my own personal life, got a tremendous boost in productivity. Just wanted to share with you, make sure you got it. Yes, I got it. No, I didn't got it, whatever. Next, what's the reason for the call? How am I going to benefit them? What's in it for them? Why should they set an appointment with me? Well, here's why. Let me do something real quick here. Hold on. Okay. So why should they set an appointment with me? Well, here's why. I want to know if there's 10 minutes you and I can spare on the phone where I can get a chance to know you and your business better and see if there's any way that anybody in my network can benefit from your product or service and vice versa. So I'm going to let them know, hey, I want to get a chance to know you and your business better, see if there's a prospect, there's a lead, there's somebody in my network that can benefit from your product or service and vice versa, meaning, maybe, show me how I can benefit from your product or service or how you can benefit from my product or service. I want to let them know the purpose of the appointment. Then I want to ask, hey, do you have time? I want to close it. I got to close it. Do you have time this week or next week for a 10-minute phone call? And that's it. That's the structure of an appointment. Here's who I am. Here's how I know you. Do you got a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds here? Here's why I'm calling. Here's what's in it for you if you meet with me. And do you want to meet with me? And the answer is going to be a couple of things. No. Be the first thing. So what a no means to me is like I flip over the card and I got a queen. No. Great. I toss it to the side and go to the next call. No. No. Cat's got diarrhea. On vacation. Call me back next week. Take me out of your list. Follow up with me later. Whatever. Going on vacation. Oh, now I got my ace. Yes, I would love to have a call with you. Here's the point. You'll never know where your best prospect is going to come from if you don't pick up the phone. If you're too scared to pick up the phone, then there's another issue that I can help you with, and we'll do that here in a minute. But I want to tell you right now, this right here works, okay? So that's number 1. Purpose of the appointment, you want to have a system, which I shared with you. You want to have a marketing touch system, which I'm going to give you the step-by-step. So let me see, where can you send me a text. Find that number here. Send me a text. Okay, here's the number. 916-741-0596. So whether you're listening to the recording or you're on the live call, send me a text, 916-741-0596. So that's a Google Voice number. I want you to send me your name and your email address. I'm going to have to add you to a Dropbox folder because the webinar is an hour and a half long. It's a big file. So I want you to download it. I want you to watch it. And I want you to set up your appointment setting system. There's a second video on there, literally step-by-step, how to do these marketing touches on a daily basis and how to make the phone calls, okay? How to implement that system. So that is the number 1 system I use to set appointments. Does it work? Well, 82.35% of the time I set the appointment. My client, Aaron Opfeld, company called Searcher Magnet. September 2015, I was referred to him by a friend of mine, and he was getting 26% conversion rate on his appointment setting phone calls from his sales team. Call him up. He'll tell you. He called me up and says, hey, will you write me an appointment setting script? I wrote him this script and I taught him this system, and I went out and trained his sales team. Paid me $500, and I took his appointment setting from the mid-20s to 83% conversion rate on setting appointments. And since then we worked together. So it works. And he's a web design company. So it works. Okay. Next, how do you set it up? Okay. So here's what I do. in my calendar, I'm not going to show my calendar because there's some bunch of appointments on here that this is a recording, but I have blocks of time. I block out an hour every single day. Now I have Rachel doing the marketing touch follow-up calls, but I still make calls even today because I want to keep that skill set sharp. So here's another rule. For those of you that are very experienced or you've been doing this for a while, never let this skill get rusty. It's just like working out at the gym, man. If you don't work it out, you're going to get rusty. Okay. So in my calendar, I have blocks of time set up, and I'm going to give you the top blocks of time that work for appointment setting. So here it is. And you can go to Google and do the research. Monday afternoon, anywhere between 4 to 5:30, good time to get decision makers on the phone. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday's number 1, Tuesday's number 2, Thursday's number 3 statistically. 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the best time to make calls, and 4 o'clock to 5:30 is the best time to make calls on those 3 days. Friday before noon is the best time to make those phone calls. Now, you can make calls any time of the day. I'm saying if you're shooting a bow and arrow and you're aiming for a specific target and you want a high degree of result, you time block it, you set in an appointment in your schedule, and you keep it. And that's what's going to make you more effective at appointment setting. Now, for those of you out there on the Facebook Live scene, you're probably going, what the hell is this guy talking about? Well, we're doing a live broadcast to the Rockland Chamber of Commerce. So this is my infomercial for the Rockland Chamber of Commerce on Facebook Live. If you are not a member of the Rockland Chamber of Commerce, you should become a member of the Rockland Chamber of Commerce, because this is the kind of training you get through this chamber. They have a business excellence series. They have a breakfast. They have lunches. They have all kinds of resources for you as a business owner, and it's a very active chamber. So that's what we're doing every single Tuesday here at 2 p.m. Pacific time. We're broadcasting live. It's a joint venture between myself and the Rockland Chamber of Commerce to bring all of you business owners some of the best content that you need to build your business. And so getting back to blocks of time and structure, the thing that I found the most is if you've got to do something that's uncomfortable, it would be a lot easier to get it done and over with. Brian Tracy wrote a book called Eat That Frog. The summary of the book is simply this. If you got to eat a live frog, if you know you got to eat a live frog, you cannot end the day today without eating a live frog, would you put it off till the end of the day, or would you just go, you know what, I got to eat the damn thing, so cover my nose, and I would eat it, right? Get it over with. Some of you, that's how it is with appointment setting. You know you got to do it. You know as a business owner, if you don't pick up the phone, you're not going to achieve your dreams and goals. Pick up the damn phone. Come up with what you're going to say. Now, if you struggle with this, what I want you to do, I'm going to take a drink of some water here, is I want you to send me a private email and send it to jpyron@johnpyron.com. So first initial, last name, jpyron, Pyron, @johnpyron.com. And in the subject line, put, I struggle with appointment setting. The phone weighs 10 pounds, whatever, right? Just make sure you let me know that you have an issue with appointment setting. We'll keep it private. I'm going to send you some special training, some resources on appointment setting. Okay, you're not going to have to pay me a dime for it, but I want to help you overcome your fear of the phone, because here's the deal. As a small business owner, I got to overcome my fear. The very first business I started in October 28th of 1990, I was scared to death of sales and the phone. So much so that 3.5 years later, my mentor, Jay Kuchia, said, you know what? You argue for your limitations too much, and I'm going to let you keep them. And I took that as a personal failure. It's my first business. I failed. Went off and hid in a warehouse making I think it was like $10.75 an hour. And it just ate at me because I knew that the only reason I didn't succeed in that business was I was scared. I was scared to pick up the phone. I was scared to go out and talk to strangers. It scared the living crap out of me. And so in February of 1996, I hired my mentor, Dave Vanny, and I said, you know what, I'm going to face this fear. You know, and if that's you, let me talk to you real quick. If that's you, if you're the business owner right now and sales scares you and it bothers you, I want you to know I totally understand. And the other thing I want you to know is that it's not your fault. So if you think about it, I mean, what do you think of when you think of a salesperson? Most people think of sleazy, fast talker, slick, liar, manipulative. I had one gal in the audience go, you know, scum. I was like, what do you mean, scum? Really? And the whole audience laughed. But that's what most people think of when they think of a salesperson. So I had the privilege of growing up in the 70s and the 80s. This is prior to the do not call list, prior to the internet or all that stuff. And my first impression of a salesperson was we're sitting around having dinner and the telemarketers start calling. Hey, do you want 25 subscriptions to Vibe? I mean, do you want subscription to this or whatever? And that was my view of a salesperson. I'm like, I don't want to be that. Or maybe you went to a car dealer and the car dealer, got you there and he's like, hey, okay, so let me get this straight. If we give you this, this, and this, you're going to buy? Oh yeah. And so they go in the back room and they sit there with their boss with their feet up on the desk and they're chit-chatting. They're like, hey, so how's the weather, Joe? How's everything going? They're not talking about your deal. They're sitting there going, you know what, we're going to make them sit there for another 25 minutes before we go. That's a sales tactic they use commonly in the car sales industry. Truth be told. And then they come back to you with some bullcrap deal and they make you sweat for hours. And that's another view of what people think a salesperson is. Well, I don't want to be that. You don't want to be that, right? And so we got to change the mindset around sales. So if you have a resistance to sales, picking up the phone, making that phone call, running that appointment, closing. If you have a resistance to sales, understand that it is going to affect your results. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to leave you there because today is the first day of the rest of your life. And I want you to have that breakthrough because as a business owner, I'll be honest with you, unless you break through this, it's going to be very difficult for you to succeed in business. And I want you to succeed in business. So here's what I want you to do. Napoleon Hill wrote a book released in 1933 called Think and Grow Rich. And in chapter 4, he talked about a technique called auto-suggestion. And that's saying the same thing to yourself over and over and over again until you reprogram your subconscious mind. Because see, what happens is over time, our subconscious mind is a recording device and it records these negative experiences. And when something happens in the conscious mind, our subconscious's job is to protect us. And when we think about picking up the phone, it's like, I don't want to be a burden to those people. I don't want to bother them. I called them once, John, and I left them a message. They didn't call me back. I don't want to bother them. Well, guess what? Most sales are made in the 5th to 12th follow-up. Truth be told. Most people, over 80% of the salespeople will stop following up after the 4th attempt. But 80% of the sales are made in this country in the 5th to 12th follow-up. True fact, true statistic. So what do? Well, here's what you do. We've got to give you a new definition of sales. Wish I could take credit for it, but I learned this from my mentor, Eric Lofholm. Told me this. He says, here's what I want you to do, John. And I had already been in sales for 22 years, okay? But I started resistance to it. And so he said, selling equals service. Sell from honesty integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. So let me say that again so you can write it down. Selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. Okay, so one last time. Selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. Now, what I want you to do with that is I want you to write it down. Let's see if I got a couple here. I want you to write it down on a 3x5 card. You know, I got a couple Post-it notes here. I want you to write it down on a 3x5 card. And I want you to post one of these 3x5 cards in your bathroom mirror, your refrigerator, your computer monitor, your sun visor in your car. Put it on the back of your cell phone, save it as a screensaver. Wherever you spend time, I want you to write down that definition. Because if you think about it, selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. Isn't that a great definition? That's what I want to be known by. And so I got to reprogram this. And so what I want you to do is this. I want you to write it down, put it in every place that you can possibly imagine. Every single time you see it, I want you to say it out loud or to yourself every single time. You'll average about 10 to 15 times a day. If you struggle with sales, I'm going to tell you right now, this right here will create a breakthrough for you. I know, because Deborah Scarpa, client of mine, Designed by Friday, been in business 23 years at the time. Started working with her in April of 2014. 3 weeks into the relationship, discovered she had a resistance to sales and it was holding her back. And she had 3,000 satisfied clients. Call her up, she'll tell you. Okay. She's like, the best investment I ever made was this exercise right here, because it helped her create this breakthrough in her mindset around sales. So I gave her this exercise. She implemented this exercise. Next thing you know, her income went up. It doubled, it tripled, it quadrupled. I mean, it's way beyond where it was back in 2014. And she has the skill set for the rest of her life. And so if that's you, and it's most small business owners that I run across from, this is a system that'll work. Question is are you going to make it a priority? Do this for the next 30 days. And I promise you, your resistance to sales will drop. You're going to embrace sales, and picking up the phone is going to be a whole lot easier, because you're going to think, how can I help this person out? How can I make that happen? So the simplicity of appointment setting is this: give something of value to somebody first, follow up and make sure they got it, and that you can help them out. And that's what I got today as far as the lesson. I know we went a little bit longer, but I want to open it up for any Q&A. So if you have any questions at all, I'm going to unmute. Does anybody have any questions about what we talked about today? Anybody need any clarification, or anybody want to get some live coaching on any other business topic? And you may want to check oh wait, I got my earphones on. I got to put my earphones on. Anybody got any questions about what we talked about today? Chris Dancy, are you there?
I am.
So any clarification, any questions, anything that you want to add to what I talked about today?
Just one, and then it's possible that I didn't pick it up completely the first time. In the beginning, you identified sending out a link or sending out some type of free information to a prospect. And then the purpose of your phone call is to, first of all, introduce yourself and ask them if they got it. Did I read that? I mean, that's kind of one of the meat that gives you the opportunity of just getting the phone call and having a good reason for making that first phone call. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that how you regularly do that, or is that one of the ways you do that? Is that your primary way, or is that just one?
It's one of the ways.
Okay.
But what I've discovered, let's just say you and I were having a conversation, because we've had these conversations, and you refer me to somebody, right? I'm still going to send them an email first before I call them.
Of course. Yep. That makes sense.
Marketing touch. I might send them something. I need them to have some sort of experience with me before I try to set an appointment with them.
Makes sense. And as you mentioned earlier in the beginning, in my heavily regulatory compliant industry, marketing touches have to go through a litany of evaluations, but I'm rethinking how I may want to do that. That was really helpful for me to see if I can engage that better, because I don't, as a rule, do them much. But I think that's a real opportunity. So thank you for that advice.
You bet. You bet. So before I open it up to anybody else, one thing I forgot to button up on is the value of a 10-minute appointment. So one of the things that my mentor, Steve Napaton, taught me back in 2015 is people are busy today, very busy. And over the many years that I've been trained, it's like I would call them and say, hey, I'd like to get together, get a chance to know you better, and see if there's anything that I can help you out with. Well, in the prospect's mind, it's like, am I going to spend a half hour, an hour? How's that going to work? And it's easier to say no because they think I don't have that kind of time. And so what I started doing after being mentored by Steve is like, it's a lot easier for somebody to commit to 10 minutes than it is for them to commit to a half hour to an hour. So I discovered is I have this 10-minute appointment before I drive across town, spend 2 hours of my time to spend with that prospect. And so that's the importance of a 10-minute appointment. And so try that out in your business. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. If you have a resistance to sales, if sales scares you, appointment setting scares you, send me a private email, and I'm going to send you some special resources on that. If you want the marketing touch system and how to set that up for yourself, again, what you want to send the email to or text message to is 916-741-0596. So 916-741-0596. Now, next week, you definitely want to be here. We're going to talk about, now that I have the appointment, what do I do? How do I run that appointment to move them to the next step in the process? How do I take the appointment that I have set up? What is it that I can do in that appointment to get them to allow me to identify their needs, to present to them a proposal, and to close? I will tell you, the first appointment, you can get the business closed about 60 to 70% in that first appointment if it's done properly. And next week, I'm going to go over step by step how to run an effective sales appointment with your prospect. Every small business owner needs to know this. So if you're a small business owner and you have a sales team out there, have your sales team on this call or have them listen to the recording. So with that said, have a wonderful week. Go out and make it happen. And I hope this has been valuable for you. Take care and make it a great day.